Wake up in the morning with my head like what you done. Yeah, you are capturing my audio. Good. Hello everyone. Hello everyone. Who are you? You're on my stream. Okay, what do you mean who am I? Sorry for the delay. I was just attempting to order the new PC. However, we've run into a slight snag, but the new PC will be here soon. Might not get it before I'm away, but even then I guess having it is better than not. Yeah, so that's exciting. Sorry, I'm going to post that I'm... Hold on. I was intentionally muted. Chris mutes though, intentionally muted. Let me, Sorry, I'm just posting my live stuff. I should have an open screen so I can record these. But, you know, I don't, so fuck you. Sorry for swearing. I get carried away. Also, I'm heading towards 20,000 subscribers, which is kind of cool. So thank you. No, 20,000, 40,000 subscribers, which is kind of cool. So nearly a tenth of my TikTok following on here, which is kind of interesting. Not quite yet. Burger. I haven't done the Wordle today, so you can watch me do the Wordle whilst I'll do the Wordle. Just to pass the time. I haven't got too long today, because obviously I'm doing Bad Hasbara later with Matt Lieb and Daniel Marte. So that's exciting. Right, let's start with Freak. Sorry for anyone who's getting their thing spoiled. Congrats in advance for 40k. Thank you for saying my t-shirt looks good. Now I'm trying to type in. No. Glance. No. Gland. Let's go for. No. Your YouTube content is so much better. Yeah, I think so. And still, like, I didn't realize that I just had to take the Louis Theroux video out of my video, but that's annoying. But yeah. Freak. Is that a word? Yeah, it is. Let's go for that. Oh. Ooh. Ooh, I wonder what it could be. I always start with a do. Yeah, you can start with Ouija as well, as in Ouija board, and that works pretty well, but yeah, the YouTube content is so much better. I think the YouTube content is better, personally. I disagree with Detective Pleasant. I think the YouTube content is better, and I prefer doing it, so it's kind of an indication, but you just get more viewers. No, it's not allowed. It's probably a long, you're right, that's what it is. It has to be a long. Nice. I would have got there eventually. And it's not always 1K, unfortunately. It's just because... Okay, now we'll do the connections, because I'm very good at these too, although you've always seen me fail them. I don't know what I'm going to do. I might go to the... I guess I'll ask in a bit as well, but is anyone going to that Together for Palestine concert tomorrow? Because I might go, I'm not sure. Right. Heartbreaker. Laminate. Strand. God. Banshee, Whaler. Comrade Christopher is so early. Yeah, sorry I'm late. It was just because, as I said, the reason I'm late is because I was trying to do my stuff. I was trying to do my shit. You know, sort the PC out, so you can whine all you want, but the PC is closer to being sorted. Tickets sold out, I thought. Yeah. The people who were running it messaged me and they were like, oh, it's sold out, but do you want tickets? And I was like, I don't know. Maybe my friends have tickets as well, so. Banshee, Whaler. I don't know what to do here. Strand. Whaler, Banshee. Hey, Sophie. Hello, everyone. Hello, everyone. Strand, laminate. So I was being sincere. I'm just surprised to see you an hour early. Oh, I see what you mean. No. I thought you were like being ironic. Chris, please go and we can live vicariously through you. Well, I can't really do anything if I'm there. It's not like I can film myself. It's noisy as shit. Oh, Coast Bank Strand, sure. Thank you. Strand Bank. Yeah, that makes sense. That's a very good one. Well done. I feel like carpet, laminate, tile, and something go together, right? Or is it like floor, wood? Spark, connection, chemistry, and then it's one more. It's one more. It's one more with this. It's chemistry, connection, pip, I have never heard. Laminate, heartbreak, wood, tile, banshee, for Whaler, pip or something. It is one away, but what is it? Wood. Why is it wood? No, it's not wood. Carpet, laminate, chemistry, fireworks, spark. It's something with this. Wood, laminate, carpet, tile. Wood, laminate, carpet, tile. Yeah, that's right. Nice. I knew it was one more with that. But it is definitely this. Spark, connection, chemistry, and then one more. What is it? It is one more. Laminate. Okay, I said it wrong. It's fireworks. Thank you. I couldn't think. I thought it was firework as well. Yeah, that's easy. And then I don't know what this is. Heartbreak. Member of classic backing band. Heartbreakers, Banshees. Is that Susie and the Bansh? What's it called? Is it Susie and the Banshees? Something in the Whalers. Susie and the Banshees. God, I forget. That's crazy spelling. Heartbreakers. I can't remember what Heartbreakers is, but I know it. Pip. I have no idea. And Whaler is I know of as well. I know what it's in reference to, but I don't actually know what it is. If you know what I mean. What's a backing band? Like people who performed with someone in the Whalers. Bob Marley and the Whalers. That's it. Or it would be, Bob Marley and the Whalers. The Whalers, yeah. Right. Then I guess we've got a Joan Jett. What's Joan Jett? I don't know what Joan Jett is. Laminate is a floor. Laminate is also to laminate something. Enough with Charlie Kirk. Someone's not happy about Charlie Kirk. By the way, Bad Empanada's take on Charlie Kirk is wild. I was talking about this. He was like, people shouldn't make jokes about this Charlie Kirk thing. No one takes politics seriously. And it's like, yeah, okay, bro. Maybe there's a point in there. But like, isn't your whole shtick going on Twitter and being like, kill everyone and like unlimited genocide for the first world. Like, those are jokes, bro. Like, I don't, maybe those are literal positions, but I just mean in terms of like treating politics like you can just sort of say and do as you please. I don't know. But yeah, sorry, I'm kind of just faffing around. Sorry, Patrick Bet Davis is posting slop. He's such a contrarian. Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers, that's it. I knew it was someone I knew. Look at this Patrick Bet David tweet. Hassan said, Mr. Patrick Bet David, I'll debate you, sir. Look at this. Me, my fellow liberal, in 2008. Bro, I was 8 years old. Maybe this is a really profound commentary on the financial crisis. How do you not know Joan Jett? No idea. I just... We can watch Bad Empanada's video, but, like, everyone knows about his conduct on Twitter being, like, 9/11 good, and it's like, bro, like, you kind of encourage people to make these kind of jokes. Like, I'm not sure what, like, the whole thing to do here is now. Like, it's not that I think he's, like, a shit scholar or something. The guy's made good videos, but, like, what? He did have a good tweet the other day. Ethan Klein used to have millions of loving fans. That all changed when they found out he's Jewish. Now, for no reason aside from anti-Semitism, Ethan's podcast is dying. Tragic. Strange Iranian. But yeah. Then in 2012, after the end of the world, my fellow liberal went further left, and then woke progressive called him a bigot in 2021, and now he's lol. And then they shot him. Yeah, but also he said that like Charlie Kirk is a no one, and whilst like I would agree, like yo, it's not like fucking Trump or someone with the same power as Trump. What I will say is that undeniably, it's someone who's like, you know, in quite a significant position of power within the Trump administration. Charlie Kirk spoke about how they got TikTok to change their policy. Like, literally. Hold on, we can watch it. I spoke about this on TikTok ages ago. Because I think when everyone's like, oh my god, they're banning TikTok every time, it's like, yeah, bro, they probably might at some point. But at the same time, stop sitting and pretending that you're just free to post whatever on TikTok. Like, it's not how it operates as a platform. It's a very limited platform in terms of... I'll see if I can find the stuff about Charlie Kirk, but I don't know if I'll find it. No, I'm not going to find it. Okay, fuck it, who cares? Chat box in the way. In the way of what? In the way of your being quiet and listening and having some goddamn respect in this stream. Yeah, I don't want you to hate Bad Empanada. Make your own decisions about Bad Empanada. In the same way that when I tell you, like, what Ethan Klein is like, it's about your decision about him. You shouldn't just hate or dislike Ethan Klein because I told you to. If I just went, I hated Ethan Klein, and you all just nodded along.
There are so
that would
many
be, like,
people
against what I'd kind of wanted to do, you know? But, I don't know. I think that most people make their decision about Ethan Klein because he's a shitty guy who makes shitty videos, who says shitty things, and is unwilling to change, you know? And I think that's the hard truth about it. Right. The meme you're trying to show on screen, Chris. Oh, I see. Oh, it didn't matter. Oh, I see. I was blocking out the really good meme. It was a real awesome thing. Oh, God. Marco Rubio's been saying crazy shit. A Shia Iran is the threat to the Jewish state. Our presence in the Middle East and the Gulf Kingdom.
We cooperated and were involved together just a few weeks ago on the issue of Iran and Iran's desire to possess not just nuclear weapons, but short and mid-range missiles with the capability of threatening our presence here in this hemisphere, in this region, and of course the safety and security of the Jewish state. But I would venture to say a threat that actually extends well beyond that to the kingdoms of the Gulf and eventually even into Europe. In fact, some of the missiles they're trying to develop now can already range countries in Europe. And so a nuclear Iran governed by a radical Shia cleric that possesses not just nuclear weapons potentially, but the missiles that could deliver those weapons far away is an unacceptable risk, not just for Israel, not just for the United States, but for the world. And that's why the president continues with our campaign of maximum pressure. There will continue to be maximum economic pressure on Iran until they...
Yeah, I know, just listening to him saying you threaten us in the region. And it's also just like, sorry, I'm probably very quiet. If you genuinely believe that Iran is the key issue here, then I'm sorry, you're not looking at a Middle East that is realistic, because Israel is the one bombing everyone that it doesn't like that gets in its way. I'm sorry, you can't just sit here and blame Iran over and over again. It's ridiculous. Fundamentally does not align with the reality that people are experiencing in the Middle East.
Change course. That's why we are encouraged to see our partners in Europe begin the process of snapping back sanctions on Iran. They are clearly out of compliance with what was already a flawed deal to begin with. And we encourage them to continue down that road. We 100% support that. That is exactly what needs to happen. And we remain firmly committed, as I said, to the president's objective, which he's been abundantly clear on. And I want to see...
Oh, God, just listening to this man on his little trip to Israel to tell everyone how brilliant Israel is. Sorry, I just got to check something on Discord real quick. Right. As I said, the new PC is actually a thing happening now, so I hope you're all excited about that. You better tell me that you are, because I'm rolling out the big guns, and we're going to have a PC that works for the first time while streaming. And also, Sophie, I'm sorry to hear that you might be let through your job, go from your job. I hope that's not for supporting Hamas by supporting a Hamas network node, me. So I'm not jumping on TikTok main account trying to dox anyone who's critiquing child. Did it to a friend of mine who's literally just some college student, threatened to get dark web on him. Bro, all these people talking about the dark web, bro, I'm sure that most of them don't have any connection or interest in what it is, like what is getting the dark web on someone. It is mostly a place where you can buy illicit substances and weaponry and other things that you might want, and look at pornography that's probably harder to access on other means to get to it. But, like, in terms of it being, like, a sort of, I don't know, a sort of thing. Help building the PC. Yeah, I've got help building the PC. It's just the only problem is that now I'm kind of waiting for... I'm kind of waiting for one part to get delivered, but it kind of depends when it's delivered. No more helicopter fan. It's more like just trying to do things, and I was thinking about like multi-streaming and stuff. It'll make that so, not multi-streaming, but like streaming with other people and stuff. It'll just make all of that so much easier, because it's like, I don't know if I need another monitor as well. It might be helpful. I see Sophie. Right, so, you know what, actually, let's cover Palestine at the Emmys. So, last night were the Emmys, which are like the Film and Television Awards, or the Television Awards, specifically. Shows you my lack of knowledge. The Emmys are television awards, right? Yeah, they're television awards. Let's see what won big. I don't even know who won big. I'm more interested in the Palestine stuff, but let's find out. Thank you, BBC. You are my best friend, doing brilliant reporting. Haven't seen Andor, haven't seen The Diplomat, haven't seen Last of Us, haven't seen Paradise, haven't seen Slow Horses, but apparently that is actually good. Really good. Severance, very good. I enjoyed Severance a lot. I thought Severance was good. The second season wasn't as good. The Bear was also pretty good. Abbott Elementary, I haven't seen. I saw the crossover with Always Sunny. I've got a second monitor. I just would need a third. That's why I think I'm actually going to be able to stream when I'm in Canada, when I thought I wouldn't be able to. When I was in Canada, I was like, oh, I can't stream because I've only got my MacBook. What I realized is I can just get a second monitor for the MacBook and everything will be fine, which is kind of cool. So, yeah, going to do that. But yeah, so I enjoyed the Bear. I thought the Bear was good, especially the second season of the Bear is really good. First season of Severance is really, really good television. Second season is okay. Summer Stowe Horses, there was a scene that was filmed in a place where I went to school. Not the school building, but like nearby. Black Mirror, didn't see. Adolescence is okay. Oh, What We Do in the Shadows is pretty good. I enjoyed the earlier seasons of What We Do in the Shadows, but yeah. Isn't there like you're talking about there's an interesting quote with George Lucas about Empire, which I'm sure that many of you are interested in.
Star Wars.
The Mujahideen.
They were Viet Cong.
Exactly. So were you thinking of that at the time?
Yes.
So
One of the craziest things about the Viet Cong that is covered in Blowback is that the Viet Cong were considered terrorists for deposing of Pol Pot's regime after people knew what Pol Pot had done, and the UN lobbied to keep the Khmer Rouge as like the legitimate government of Cambodia. It's like a genuinely unbelievable stuff was going on at this time, but unbelievable stuff is still. I mean, this is. I think there's actually more where they have like a debate about the. There's like a very funny full quote. Let me see. I'll be invited on to also to talk about Angloid online culture and the United States re Charlie Kirk. What will you, or is this like a sort of thing that you want to do? But nice. Are my headphones broken or what's up? No. It's just one thing, but it's just a one-sided thing. But yeah, I mean, in terms of Star Wars, it's a film about, as he says, like little guys winning, which is people are always going to associate with being anti-Empire, you know. Also, just to say, I now have a clips channel, which this will be going on. And someone said only okay. Season 2 of Succession. I enjoyed season 2 of Succession. I just didn't think it was as good as Succession season 1. I thought Succession season 1 was brilliant. And season 2 is just not as good. I'm just going to upload a story. Hey everyone, I am live right now on YouTube. I'm covering all the Palestine stuff at the Emmys, a bit more about the Charlie Kirk shooter, and then the Arab Doha summit talking about Israel's attacks on Qatar. Join through the link here. Severance. Yes, I do mean Severance. But you know I love Succession. I love Succession. I didn't really have a preference over seasons of Succession. I especially like the bit where he sings the song that's about 9/11, Kendall. Queens and Staten, from the Battery to the top of Manhattan. Someone sent me a message saying, you're super cute, probably super straight too. Thank you, the U-Man, but unfortunately I will not be responding to that message. The likes are lacking. Probably are lacking. Yes, Severance. You've got Severance. No. I like Stephen Graham. Who's Christine Milotti? I don't know who that is. But okay, right. Just looking through things here. I also watched The Death of Stalin over the weekend and enjoyed it. Hannah Einbinder. So this is kind of what I actually want to talk about, but I'm not so fussed about the winners. So obviously, all of these events, I mean, I'm sure that most of you remember the ceasefire pins. The ceasefire pins have provoked an insane reaction amongst Israelis, including Ethan Klein's favourite pro-Palestine person. Ethan's favourite pro-Palestine moderate voice, Hen Mazeeg. Hen Mazeeg is so funny, because Hen Mazeeg is like definitely a liberal Zionist. 100% Hen Mazeeg is a liberal Zionist, but he kind of just exposes to you how all these liberal Zionists who are like, I don't agree with Netanyahu, man, are also just weird and support Israel, because witnesses say the gunman, when he opened fire outside the Capitol Jewish Museum in DC in May, killing a Jewish woman and her partner, Hannah Einbinder didn't condemn it then. Last night she repeated the phrase at the Emmys. This is a guy who, like, Ethan Klein regularly fucking reposts as well. He thinks that this guy is someone, like, awesome to be reposting and saying, oh, this is, like, someone who's a great voice on Palestine. And this is the kind of stuff that Hen Mazig is tweeting regularly, that saying Free Palestine is equivalent to... endorsing people getting shot, which, there's much to say about that, but, like, in terms of being shot, bro, come on. Like, the level of reach. The level of reach. I just want to see what Hen Mazig has also been tweeting. Probably just whiny stuff. He's getting very upset. He's complaining that Israel are going to be removed from Eurovision. Sorry, this is off topic, but it's just funny. Breaking! Eurovision organizers are reportedly offering Israel 2 options to end the participation crisis. Temporary withdrawal from for 1 year to avoid humiliating removal by European countries. Participation under a neutral flag. The proposal comes after Ireland, Slovenia and the Netherlands threaten to pull out if Israel competes. What is it about the Jewish state that angers Europeans so much? She has the equivalent of the swastika behind her. She has the equivalent of a swastika behind her. That's what is angering us so much. She has the thing that has been etched into Palestinian bodies, forcibly etched into the land that Israel has destroyed and inflicted suffering onto for nearly 2 years. So please spare me the idea that this is in any way to do with anti-Semitism. He has tweeted so much. He has tweeted so much about how much he hates Hannah Einbinder. Millionaire celebs love shouting empty slogans on stage like it's open mic night. Free Palestine is not a punchline. You had 30 seconds to inspire millions. You could have called for peace, condemned terror, called for the release of hostages, opposed the sexual atrocities and rape committed by Hamas, and shown empathy for all victims. Instead, you went for applause lines and left Israelis and Palestinians exactly where they were, bleeding. But you sure look chic in this expensive dress. Hen Mazig is mad that she is serving. I think that is where we're at today. Hen Mazig is upset that Hannah Einbinder served. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. But when you read through this as well, like, just, what would it have done if you'd just been like, Hamas raped loads of people, Hamas did this, Hamas did that? Bro, what does that fix? What does that fix? That he's like, oh, everyone's bleeding because of that. This is the average lib Zionist take. But I think it's also just a clear expose of, like, how liberal Zionism is, and why, like, Ethan is such a problem, right? Because Ethan is a problem for a multitude of reasons, but he's also because he dresses up the fact that he is, he claims, oh, I'm not actually a Zionist, I'm not this, I'm not that, I'm all these great things. But then in reality, platforms people like Hen Mazig and thinks that they're really, really great and good. And this is the kind of message it is. You have to condemn everything that Palestinians do, make it about them, and saying Free Palestine is the problem, and that actually you're endorsing poor Jewish people getting shot, rather than actually getting to the root of the issue. Israel is a nuclear-armed superpower. Israel is a country that has done nothing about Palestine. Sorry, has done nothing positive or made no overtures towards peace with the Palestinians. So shouting Free Palestine is the important thing to saying, not this liberal wishy-washy, ooh, I should say, Israel, everyone should have peace and then everything will stop. These people make out and sit higher than thou and act as if what they are saying matters, when actually what they want is a continuation of the pre-October the 7th status quo, where Israel was still in a good position, stealing land from Palestinians, but everyone didn't hate it. And what I want is a fundamental change where no one accepts Israel as just like a good and moral acceptable thing because that's just what you do. Isn't it the point of Eurovision itself being frivolous in the midst of the point of Eurovision itself being frivolous in the midst of genocide? How do you mean? I mean, of course Eurovision is like a frivolous competition, but the whole point is take away Israeli slop and enjoyment and they start to pay the price for their genocide. Even if you can't this is the thing about the Spanish Pedro Sanchez's statement. What Pedro Sanchez is saying, Israel's got nuclear weapons. Israel has America backing up, but make them bleed on the level of entertainment, culture. Don't let them participate in events anymore. Take away the things that Israelis love and use to whitewash their image. And then people will start to say, oh, Israel's banned like Russia. Israel's bad. These people who are still endorsing Israel are problematic in the sense of like, why are you endorsing this state that is so barbaric in its crimes against the Palestinians? Why do we have to maintain this notion that it's really normal? And I think that this is kind of what I liked at the Emmys, because if she had gone down this path of being like, oh, I condemn everything, oh, everything's bad, it would have been meaningless. But using your platform to stand in the way she did is important. And exactly, this is one of the first things that I like. By the way, Always Sunny references all over the place. Rum ham. The thing is that, like, people underestimate this, and it's mentioned in Chomsky's work very early on. In Chomsky's work on Palestine with Ilan Pappé, what they talk about is they're like, I think people underestimate the cultural element of boycott. Imagine Israelis made the World Cup and got that taken away. Like, just I think that would actually be funnier. That would be the better thing. If Israel somehow gets to the World Cup, which I think it could, and then it's just like, yeah, Israel can't compete. Because then probably Trump would be like, we've got to cancel the whole thing. We've got to cancel the whole World Cup and blah, blah, blah. And all of a sudden, you're just like affecting sports fans who are, most of whom are already on the fence about Israel and don't like it. And they're like, actually, you know, it's a bit weird because even though some of them are really right wing, a lot of them feel that it's like, why are we still just supporting Israel? And so all of this cultural stuff to me really, really matters. All of this stuff really matters in the sense of like, Israel shouldn't be here. Cindy the Skull. I cannot endorse that comment. That is rude. And then we've got more Hen Mazigue meltdown. Hen Mazigue is really in meltdown overdrive. I bet... Wait. I wonder if you can see... I'll follow Gila Klein so I can see if she's liking this kind of stuff on Instagram. Because I bet Hen Mazigue is posting this on Instagram. And I know they're both fans of Hen Mazigue. She'll now be the only person I follow on Instagram. Just Gila Klein, the Raider from Ramallah. Hen Mazigue. Author, the wrong kind of Jew, son of North African plus Iraqi Jewish refugees. Okay, she hasn't liked it, but Hen Mazigue is making infographics. When the Hacks actor signed a pledge to boycott Israeli film institutions and used her platform to declare free Palestine, she no doubt believes she was doing something bold, even righteous, but what she did wasn't brave, it was populist and dangerous. There is nothing risky about parroting the most popular slogan in Hollywood. Wearing a pin or signing an open letter won't cost you jobs. Or yes, bro, this is literally something that could happen. This is literally something that could happen. If you talk about Palestine, if you say I'm not going to work with companies related to Israel, like, in fact, I might make a TikTok about this later tonight. But yeah, like, just, you might actually lose something. Going out there and offering a wishy-washy statement of, ooh, I want peace in the Middle East. It's like, bro, that doesn't mean anything. They want to all lives matter a genocide, 100%. And that's the funny thing. With all lives matter is a benign statement that everyone moves into, but like actually believes in. And Black Lives Matter believes in that. Black Lives Matter is like an all lives matter thing. But the point of Black Lives Matter, obviously, is that in the case of American society, what they're saying is, well, white lives matter more and black lives, and it's a much broader thing, are clearly the things that don't matter. And you see how quickly the people chanting all lives matter moved into blue lives matter and all of these things, and basically actually using it as a means to undermine the pro-Palestine movement. And what this moves into is just talking only about what Palestinians do. And Hen Mazig's tweet made that so clear. Why didn't you just talk about what Hamas did? It's basically like going on to say IOF lives matter is probably where Hen Mazig wants it to be. The claim that anti-Israel rhetoric is separate from anti-Semitism collapses under the weight of reality. Jews are attacked on the streets of New York, stabbed in Europe, shot in synagogues in Pittsburgh and Poway by people who believe the same conspiracy theories anti-Israel activists spread. A Jew being punched in Los Angeles doesn't care that his attacker says it's about Israel. He cares that there is a fist in his face. Hannah Einbinder is responsible for a Jewish man getting punched in Los Angeles. Who even perpetrated the Pittsburgh synagogue shooting? This is also just a really disgusting post in the sense of I thought that this was the case. Robert Gregory Bowers was the person who perpetrated it. But just look what he was saying. A message on Gab in which he wrote, "Hyas likes to bring invaders in that kill our people. I can't sit by and watch my people get slaughtered. Screw your optics, I'm going in." So it was to do with a Hebrew Immigrant Aid Society. Now, people who like Israel want Jewish people to go to Israel. This is something that we all know. But in the context of this, right, like, this is just a guy who clearly is deranged and right-wing and believes in, like, anti-Jewish conspiracy theories that have nothing to do with Palestine. This guy was probably like, oh, I don't like Israel, but it didn't come from a position of a desire for freedom for Palestine. It's like when we were talking about Nick Fuentes the other day. Nick Fuentes literally said previously, prior to October the 7th, I don't have a dog in that fight when it comes to Palestine, because Nick Fuentes is still a racist. He's not someone who believes in what free Palestine is actually about, which is fundamentally saying all human beings deserve dignity and respect. He is just someone piggybacking off the back of, being able to basically condemn something that everyone should condemn. I don't know any Charles Glass books, no. Just this past May, a gunman opened fire outside the Capitol Jewish Museum during a reception hosted by the American Jewish Committee, killing a Jewish woman and her partner. Witnesses say the shooter shouted, "Free Palestine." Hannah Einbinder did not condemn it. Oh, shut up, Henmazig. Henmazig, you... To oppose Israel's existence is not merely to challenge a government policy, it is to challenge Jewish existence as a free people. You can criticize Netanyahu and his government's actions and policies. I know I have, and still hold this truth, but when celebrities make it trendy to vilify Israel, it fuels the climate that leads to Jewish schools under police guard, synagogues set on fire, and children beaten on their way to class. What this is all just about is what this is all about is basically, making it so that anyone who supports Palestine is in support of violence against Jewish people. Obviously not true. But also making it so that the only way you can do it is if you go, I don't like Netanyahu, but, like, Israel is amazing, Israel is amazing and free. And even this thing here, it is to challenge Jewish existence as a free people. It really reminds me of Tom Segev's quote about how Israel transformed Jewish people from refugees, penniless people, instantaneously, basically, into people who had everything. Palestinians had to go into exile, and that was the prerequisite of Jewish people being free in this context. So it's not freedom, is it? And when you put it like this, it completely ignores the Palestinian experience, which is actually what he wants from these people. True bravery would have been using that Emmy stage to call for the release of the 48 hostages still held in Gaza and end to the war. Also, by the way, this is stupid because Israel is the one responsible for the hostages still being there. Don't even need to go into that. That is just like the most obvious truism that you could possibly point out to. Israel had multiple opportunities to get people out of that situation, but they chose not to in favor of destroying Gaza and doing all of these and ethnically cleansing Palestinians there rather than bringing home their hostages. And in this context as well, all our governments support that. She's in America, where the American government is plotting to expel 2 million people from the Gaza Strip with Israel. And you're like, the brave thing would be to talk about the hostages. It's like, what is this? This is slop, and this is the kind of thing that Ethan Klein and Gila Klein promote as a reasonable take on Palestine. It's just not a reasonable take on Palestine. Also, by the way, just quickly here, one, I hate reggaeton. My flatmate used to play it all the time, and I really don't like it. Hold on, I'm just checking my messages to see if anything's going on that I need to respond to. Just with doing Bad Hasbara later. And yeah, it's kind of just like, I don't know. I'm getting rip shit on Ham. 100, 100, 100. She couldn't... God, just read this. This is slop. This is some of the biggest slop I've ever heard. And also, by the way, I never learnt Spanish. I learnt French, German, and Persian. My French is terrible, obviously, because I haven't spoken it since I was 16. My German is okay, but I don't speak it much anymore. And in the context of Persian, I can read it better than I can. Not hate with reggaeton. He just used to listen to reggaeton all the time, and I don't like it as a genre of music, I'm afraid. It's not for me. True courage could have meant calling for peace, for coexistence, and the humanity of both Israelis and Palestinians, even if it risked boos instead of applause. Hannah Einbinder had a rare moment when when the world was listening. She could have built a bridge. Instead, she burned one. It's just like, what is this? This is like Kumbaya slop. Palestinians, on the other hand, are dying. Hundreds of Palestinians every day are slaughtered by the government that this person and Gila Klein and Ethan Klein do PR for, and then they're like, oh, why don't you, say, Israel's awesome? I've seen A Taste of Cherry, Certified Copy, and Hit the Road, which are all really good. But yeah, like, just look how much he posts about them. God, he makes infographics every day, bro. I'm not liking that. I do not mean to like that. Right, that's enough of that. What drives me crazy is these privileged, detached celebs think they're being brave and stunning, but parroting the most populist slogan in the world, throwing a pin on or cosplaying a Jordanian scarf, is the safest thing you can do. That's why they all do it. No, hen, they're participating in a cultural boycott of your horrible, horrible nation that is genociding people that no one in the world, apart from sycophants like you and the people around you who hype you up as some moderate voice, want anything to do with. Israel is cooked, bro. We don't want anything to do with you. Yeah, I love Israeli psytrance. Just getting and calling it a Jordanian scarf. My brother in Christ, all Israeli food that is, like, good is mostly just borrowed from Jewish intermixture in Europe and also in the Middle East. Like, you're all like, I love my Israeli shawarma, and it's like, hey, bro, that's just Yemeni food. Like, sitting there and calling the kufiyya when it has become a symbol associated with Palestinian liberation. A scarf. Bro, Hen Mazik, give me a break. Hen, please, bro. Hen, please, I swear, just calm down, bro. And also, the kafir's fire. I like this tweet as well. Cosplaying a Jordanian scarf. It's always interesting to notice the moments that really trigger Hen. When the carefully constructed friendly face of Zionism mask comes off for just a second, and then back on. It's never what I expect. Once upon a time, the woke Alonsos of the world used to tell us this was cultural appropriation and disrespect to the culture it represents. I guess that's no longer a thing, and it's considered cosplaying when a Spaniard dons a kafir in public. Can't keep up. Henmizzy. But this guy is just such a little... Oh, God. Yeah, they were all getting Indian food. Chris hates reggaeton. I don't like reggaeton. It's essentially a Western American outfit. I mean, more so maybe now it's more Americanized. But I think that the thing is that ultimately, initially, it was a European project. But even then, America's like a European project without really much history. Of course, the land that America's on has a lot of history. But it's not got that much history, bro. It's like a few hundred years. Like, that's it. It's no surprise they love Israel. Lacks culture too.
What are you doing? What are you...
Sorry, I'll get back to the Emmys in a second, but I just wanted to see this video. There's like some kid chasing after... There was a racist rally, which I probably should talk about, but...
This is what's happening. They're chasing us. They're chasing us. They're actually chasing us.
What are you doing?
What are you doing? I was born in this country. I was born in this country.
Listen.
Then fucking love your country then.
Smack her, smack her.
What do you mean smack her?
What's wrong?
This is insane.
Why are you coming against us?
Just like running around calling to smack people, but peaceful protest, by the way. Right, okay, I know, I'm hearing all the calls. Oh, Chris, we're meant to be doing something. We'll do it. We'll do it. Fine, I guess I have to. So, we'll watch her short speech first.
Finally, I'll pay the difference, sorry. Finally, Go Birds, and Free Palestine. Thank you.
The cut wasn't your headphones, it was her saying fuck ICE. Shout out to her for using her platform in that way and upsetting Hen Mazik so much. I feel like if you've upset Hen Mazik this much, you are doing something brilliant. I think that you just know at this point that you are a brilliant voice of the people. Just watching him melt down over anything, bro. Quality. Quality scenes. I'm listening while I cook, so don't at me, Chris, unless Chris takes his shirt off. Yeah, I won't be taking my shirt off. Chris, is that your people? That is 100% my people, bro. Chrome sucks, broke uBlock, and they have 70% of the market share because Edge and Bry. To be a dude named Hen. Oh, they cut it. She's a queen, though. No. I just don't think they can show swearing live. It's probably something to do with, upset, like it's probably just to do with, you know, like having swearing on primetime television or some kind of stuff. I don't know. The only one who can reliably tell Chris what to do. No, I know that Tony Soprano Lover seems to be the only one to tell me what to do, but at the same time, we just looked at Hen Mazik having a meltdown before we even watched the context. So probably when I edit this together, I'll probably edit together this part first. But yeah.
Ask you, when you were up on stage, you talked about Palestine, and I know you signed a pledge too. Can you talk about that, please?
Yeah. So, well, I thought it was important to talk about Palestine because it's an issue that's very dear to my heart. I have friends in Gaza who are working as frontline workers, as doctors right now, in the north of Gaza.
Sorry, I'm just going to see if I can turn it up. Right, hold on. Let me just go back a little bit.
As frontline workers, as doctors right now, in the north of Gaza, to provide care for pregnant women and for school children, to create schools in the refugee camps. And it's an issue that's really close to my heart for many reasons. I feel like it is my obligation as a Jewish person to distinguish Jews from the state of Israel because our religion and our culture is such an important and long-standing, basically like institution that is really separate to this sort of ethno-nationalist state. And in terms of the pledge, it's like many movements, boycotting is an effective tool to create pressure on the powers that be to meet the moment, you know? So the Film Workers for Palestine boycott does not boycott individuals. It only boycotts institutions that are directly complicit in the genocide. So yeah, it's important to me, and I think it's an important measure, and so I was happy to be a part of it.
My queen, serving as well as spitting facts. My queen. This is queen shit, you know. Hen Mazik is crying. He's like, oh, you could have used your platform to condemn Hamas. Oh, I want to condemn Hamas. And it's like, no, bro. She's spitting facts. She's using her platform to spit facts. Facts don't care about your feelings, Hen. Hen got owned by facts. But yeah, I mean, like, brilliant stuff. She's talking about why boycott matters. Bro, this is what you need. Not like when they all had little pins on. I know she's wearing a pin, but like they just wore pins and that's the end of it. Bro, you got her out here being like, yeah, I think we should boycott Israel, separate Judaism from the ethno-nationalist state of Israel. Jewish people are much more than this. You got people like Miriam Margolis doing this for years. But like, whoop, fire. And Hen Mazik and like Ethan Klein would be like, yeah, it's better if you actually go, Hamas are all evil. Hamas responsible for all evil in Middle East. I know they say institutions, not individuals, but if individuals are complicit, they should be considered as well, in my opinion. I think also, I was talking to someone about this on TikTok, and I'm sure I've seen this statistic. Hold on. Look at this. They all say, like, Israel is now really anti, like, and they're all protesting against the war. Peace Now, which had been established 4 years previously, organised in Tel Aviv a protest demonstration which brought to the street some 10% of Israel's population at an estimated 400,000 And a 7th September in exchange for a rally for the... Which one? So this alleges that there were... Oh, fuck, I shouldn't have clicked on this. My PC will crash. So that's alleging that there's 750,000 at them. But this is 10% of Israel's population at the time were protesting against one massacre. So you would expect that Israel's protests had grown a lot. And by the way, a lot of people were there because Lebanon was seen as Israel's Beirut. They were losing loads of soldiers at this point, or loads relative. And Israelis couldn't really take it. And they were very upset, basically, about what was going on. And so anyway, they did all these protests. The protests haven't grown that much. It's only in the size of the number. So there's an estimate of 500,000 at the main rally and 250,000. So that would be around 10% of Israel's population. But you would think at a bigger genocidal event than Sabra and Shatir. I mean, Sabra and Shatir is heinous. And Israel definitely was complicit in it and knew that it would happen and didn't care. But, like, people in Israel aren't protesting against what's going on en masse in the way that you would expect for a country so complicit. And I think that all of this cultural stuff can't be ignored because it matters. You need to boycott Israel. You need to. You need to make sure that culturally Israelis pay. Are you going to talk about the Together for Palestine event at Wembley Stadium? It got big names like Florence and Cumberbatch. Well, I might go, but I haven't decided. Clearly, heart failure through cholesterol will bring forth the Rev Tovarich. Who's the Rev Tovarich? I don't know what you mean. This is how you platform Palestine without centering Jewish feelings over Palestinian voices. Adam Friedland, take notes. I mean, yeah, it wasn't really about... I don't think Adam Friedland did that bad a job. One where I'd be like, you know, oh, Adam Friedland, do better. It wasn't perfect, but... Yeah, we'll watch Javier Bardem in a second. God. But yeah, based,
I wanted to ask you...
based, and anyone upsetting Hen Mazik this much is amazing stuff. But, right, let's watch Javier Bardem now.
That's justified. Here I am today.
Shout out to whatever department of... Chris, you need to go. I may do it. I may do it. I'm not sure whether I will. At all. I genuinely don't know whether I will go. I need to decide. I kind of want to stream that day and work because obviously going away.
They denouncing the genocide in Gaza. I'm talking about the IAGS, which is international. So cannot work with somebody that's justified. Here I am today denouncing the genocide in Gaza. I'm talking about the IAGS, which is the International Association of Genocide Scholars, who study thoroughly genocide and has declared it is a genocide. And that's why we ask for a commercial and diplomatic blockade and also sanctions on Israel to stop the genocide, free Palestine.
If you find out a company that you're going to go into business with is in business with Israel, what do you do?
I won't work. I won't work. I cannot work with somebody that's justify or support the genocide. I can't. That's as simple as that. And we shouldn't be able to do that in this industry and in any other industry. Today in Madrid, in Spain, the cycle, La Vuelta, the bicycle tour, it was stopped by thousands and thousands and thousands of people on the streets marching, saying we can't allow the team of Israel being in this tour, so it's whitewashed. No, the world has changed, and what we are witnessing is a genocide, as I said in your show, in 4K alive on a daily basis. This has to stop.
Bro, this is just so based. Like, Javier Bardem has so much more to lose than Ethan Klein from talking about this stuff. When have you ever heard Ethan Klein speak about this like that? I wouldn't work with someone who justifies or supports genocide. Bro, you work with Lonabox. You work with Ahmed Fouad Al-Khatib. You platform Hen Mazik. You are happy to work with those people. Here is someone who stands to lose millions of dollars, millions and millions, money that he could just sit with for the rest of his life by shutting up and keeping his head down. And here you have him unequivocally condemning genocide. Bro, this is a king statement. He's serving as well. The kafir looks fire. This guy just generally, oh, what a speech. It's not wishy-washy. It's not crap. It's not just the bare minimum from celebrities posting something on Instagram. It's saying, bro, I won't work with you. It is shouting out direct action against the state of Israel. This is the kind of stuff we need, not like, I condemn Hamas and Israel and the hostages. Ooh, no, bro, this is what it looks like. And Hen Mazid going, wah, he's wearing a Jordanian scarf. It's just so funny to me because that's the person that Ethan Klein is like, oh, that's awesome, love this guy. Not someone like Javier Bardem, bro. This is my king. And he's really good in No Country for Old Men as well. He's fire in that. That is a great film. Haven't seen it in ages. Maybe I wouldn't enjoy it as much. I can still get a ticket for the show, but I don't know 100%. Based in España pilled. Bro, we don't work with no one who just doesn't justifies genocide. 100%. Someone said that... So you said he started out very neutral. By the way, thank you for everyone who's donated. It's always greatly appreciated. Thank you for making streaming possible. As a thing I wanted to do, as a thing to do. Someone said in 2014, Javier Bardem, so Emma Vigeland said, Javier Bardem and his wife Penelope Cruz signed an open letter denouncing Israeli bombing campaigns in Gaza back in 2014. They were hammered for it and accused of anti-Semitism. Good people. I mean, I don't... This is a very long speech, but I'm sure it's just him being based as well. That's like that's the main Emmy stuff, though. Like, you know, So this is Trita Parsi who's talking about it. I'm not sure I could love Bardem more. A beautiful man in every aspect. Indeed, he's just wonderful. Like, just a wonderful speech and a brilliant actor as well. Wait, who is that guy, an actor? Have you really never seen No Country for Old Men? Or, I don't know, what else is he in? Pirates of the Caribbean, whatever it is. I've never actually seen that film. But he looks kind of epic in it. What other films is he in? He's in one of the James Bonds, isn't he? Spectre? Skyfall. I've not seen the F1 film. But yeah, he's a brilliant actor. Like, a brilliant actor. And he's married to Penelope Cruz. So, you know, shout out to him. Supporting Palestine. But a key barrier that is overcome in revolutions is when the public stops fearing the dictator. Similarly, the fear of retribution by elements supporting Israel's genocide have been overcome. Here's a Spanish actor, Javier Bardem, saying he will not work with any film or TV company that justifies or supports the genocide in Gaza. I think there's a point, bro. I think there's a point. Like, people are unequivocally against Israel's genocide now. Like, it's not just people wearing these red hand pins anymore. It's people being like, yeah, bro, I won't work with anyone who justifies... It wasn't even support, this is just justifies genocide. If you justify genocide, you're cooked. What was I going to search? They were all crying about the pin they were wearing as well. Look at this from... I'm sure this tweet has barely any likes, but it's just expressing a sentiment that is much wider. Lol at those who think they know the Middle East. Try 30 funerals a day for loved ones murdered in their beds. That cool pin, every Jew knows it recalls the 2000 Ramallah lynching. If only you spent as much time learning as you do hating Jews. By the way, even... It's not what it's in reference to. It's in reference to just bloody hands from Israel's complicity in crimes against the Palestinian people. But even in the context of the 2000 Ramallah lynching, it was two Israeli soldiers... Two Israeli soldiers, so, you know. And look when it occurred. It occurred during a funeral for a Palestinian child who had been killed by Israeli forces 2 days earlier. Two Israeli military reservists, Vadim Nurzitz and Yosef Yossi Avrahami, had accidentally entered. This is what happens when you raid Ramallah. Do you remember also when Ethan Klein was like, they kill you for going into Ramallah. They lynch you. Hila was like, they lynch you. Film workers for Palestine, boycott names. There's names like Emma Stone surprised me because she seemed like she's been silent, but no, she's taking action. Yeah, and people like Olivia Colman as well. Brilliant actor who I adore. Brilliant actress in actress. But yeah, this is going to be hard to hear, but you're good at streaming. Keep up the good work. Thank you, Safety. It's always very hard to hear. Kidnapped in a tank moment. Yeah, and also it's like when they go on about the first intifada and say like, oh, we're the major victim. Second intifada, especially the first intifada. Israel is not a victim in the first intifada at all. The second intifada was called the Intifada of Independence, and they turned to militarism because of a direct result of the failure of peace, peace through peaceful means and negotiations, because Israel was intransigent, and they just wouldn't do anything about it, and so people turned to using militant actions, and even then it's more Palestinians who are getting killed and punished by Israel than it is poor Israelis. I just want to see if I can find these tweets about the red oh, here's the one I saw earlier. Kevin Vuong. God, Canadians, proud dad and husband, former parliamentarian in Toronto. If you're wondering what Hannah's Einbinder's red handpin is all about, it's glorifying terrorist Aziz Salha, whose hands were bloodied from lynching 2 Israelis. I couldn't agree more with my wife. We are never watching Hacks. Okay, bro, I think Hacks will do just fine without you. That is not what it is in reference to. Oh no, my 21-year-old baby man-child got abducted from a tank while he was massacring children. 100%. Those who make peaceful revolution impossible make violent revolution inevitable. But also, it's not just about peaceful revolution. It's about the extremity of Israel's violence against Palestinians and the lack of offering any solution. But when Israel is so violent, what do you expect Palestinians to do? Agreed, you are very good at streaming, Chris. Thank you, thank you. I mean, I think if I stick at it and I work a bit harder with streaming, which I'm trying, as you've probably noticed, the streams are a little more organised. I know we're still off on tangents. But I think if I get this all cracked down, bro, I'm going to be cooking on streaming. That's all I'm saying. I'm going to be editing more videos, getting them out on that second channel. I'm so excited to go to Canada. Like, no, I cannot wait to go to Canada. It's a bit... But it's not the worst timing I've ever had with streaming. It's like, at least I can stream in Canada. Bro, when I was away, when Iran attacked Israel, oof, that was a terrible time to be away. Imagine the live reaction to Iran striking a damn blow on Tel Aviv, bro. Oof! The Qatar attacks, no. I'm going to try and cover them, but I've only got till probably about 6:45 UK time. But yeah. I want to write about ICUN and protected areas for biodiversity as a type of settler colonialism. The loud Brit is indeed inspirational. ICUN and protected areas for biodiversity as a type of settler colonialism. That would be really interesting, bro. That sounds really interesting. I'm 24. You asked earlier, have I been to university? Yes, I finished at university. Vacation, visiting a friend. Was sorry that you had to take the stream, the last stream down. I wanted to watch it from the beginning. Be careful what you show today. Oh, the hands thing is fine. The hands thing will be fine. But, I think that the thing where I showed the, also, by the way, that stream's back up. The stream's back up if you want to watch it. The whole stream's back up. There's even a shorter one that's only 15 minutes long. But yeah, it's still up. And also, there's 500 people in here today. Shouts out everyone. The tech problems are not going to be a problem, bro. The tech problems are going. Thanks for all of your support for moving us towards a new PC. God damn. I'm going to go hard with that shit. I'm going to be streaming like crazy with the new gaming rig. There'll be Fortnite. There'll be the game where you get to go round and spray paint Israeli soldiers, which looks epic. But yeah, I'll just see if there's anything more with the Emmys that I wanted to cover. But I think that that's pretty much all with the Emmys, right? I think those two were the two who gave, like, the best speeches and did the most, like, in terms of actually speaking out. There's just a couple of people as well who wore pins and stuff. Some people are reading into it a bit too much and saying that they wore, you know, red, black, and green. So that means they were supporting Palestine.
Well, I thought it was important to talk about.
But yeah, I think this is probably about it. This is all we're going to see, which is, you know, I would have liked to have seen more, but I'm glad that we saw all these things. Also, what is this? The New York Post censored this. What is this? What is this? What was wrong? Why did they censor it? It wasn't like they didn't censor the one next to it. Like, what was that? But yeah, I think that that's probably everything that I need to cover. I don't know if there's anything anyone else would.
Denouncing the genocide. Here I am today.
This seems to be another clip.
Denouncing the genocide in Gaza. I'm talking about the IAGS, which is the International Association.
No, we saw this, but yeah. I mean, very good stuff, to be honest. Very, very good stuff on Palestine from these few. And also, of course, agree with her sentiment of fuck ICE. But yeah, brilliant stuff. Brilliant, nice, like, decent stuff from actors of, like, not just, you know, wearing a pin and that's it. They actually spoke unequivocally against Israel, which is what you want to be seeing from cultural icons, like, who have influence over people. Scored on these boys. I won every award on these boys. What were you saying there? Why are you saying this about Messi and Neymar? And I see Tony Soprano Lover is giving advice about how to make a lasagna. So thank you for that, Tony Soprano Lover. What was that person saying? They were just saying stuff about hey, I am hip hops Messi, Neymar, and Ronaldo. Just spelling Ronaldo incorrectly. But yeah, nice stuff to see from Javier Bardem. And even better to see Hen Mazig's meltdown. Wait, I want to see if Elon Levy had a meltdown. I bet he did.
Visiting some of
I just want to see this. This is some depraved British Zionist talking about their trip to Israel.
visiting some of the scenes of the October 7 massacre, the kibbutz, where so many died, or were taken hostage, the Nova Festival site. I went to
Yes, check out the Discord if you want. The link is there. There's a donations link, and I've pinned it, and the resource list will be up very soon.
Hostage Square to meet with the families of hostages taken by Hamas, some safely returned, some who died in captivity, and some who are still there, being starved and tortured.
Sorry, I was muted. By the way, it is so comical to go to Israel and be like, oh, I got taken to the sites where October the 7th happened. It's so emotional for me. And then, like, just kind of, you know, not mention, like, hey, also, you know, there's, like, a genocide ongoing right now. And that just to not move you at all is crazy to me. But, you know, it doesn't surprise me. It doesn't surprise me what this woman is doing. This woman is depraved, but this is classic supporters of Israel.
Those tunnels in Gaza. It has been a haunting and an emotional experience. But the thing that's most surprised me is how inspirational, how uplifting, and how strong.
She definitely just likes Israel because it's really racist. Like, that's just kind of it. It's just Israel is really ultra racist, and it's like, I love it. I love Israel because they're racist, and Britain should be more racist.
The Israeli people are. Now, Western governments like ours here in Britain think they have much to teach Israel about, you know, right and wrong, and how to conduct a war and how to treat their enemies. But actually, I think it's Israel that has much to teach us. It's a country where everyone flies their flag with pride, where young people, kids just 18 and 19, put on their uniforms and proudly head off to defend their land.
It's also, by the way, a really funny narrative of what you would actually want for, like, to happen to young people in this country, in the context of, like, Israel has loads of mental health problems. Israel has a huge amount of mental health problems directly as a result of, you know, them being just sent in to kill children and babies. Like, just mass killing innocent people and then being told, well done for killing terrorists. There's, as much as you might want to believe that you can do that, bro, when they actually go and do it, there are some who are just like, yeah, killing everyone's cool and good and it's amazing. But a lot of them get blowback in their minds and are going crazy and are, like, really suffering right now. So, like, even these people who are like, oh, Israel is amazing, Israel is all these great things, and everyone should wear the uniform. Bro, come on. Like, actually interact with Israel. I can raise their volume a little bit.
Where everyone, no matter whether they...
And that's also the funny thing that you bring up, Free Palestine. When will the Klein family make the Look How Diverse Israel Is tour? Well, they're not, because they were scared of rocket sirens, because harming their poor kids, so they couldn't do the pro thing. And no, they didn't blur it, because Rahul, she was wearing it in the second photo, so you're wrong there. But I don't know why they did it. Maybe it's because she was too fire. But yeah, like, they're not doing the diverse tour, but they're pretty similar. Like, you know, she's like, oh, Israel's so proud and all these great things. Like, how's that different to what Ethan said?
Are religious or secular, Jew or Arab, young or old, black or white, feel united in their belief in their country. And yet they don't all agree with their government or with their prime minister or every military strategy. But that's democracy. That's a strength, not a weakness. But this is a people, this is a country that faces an existential threat, not just to their way of life, but to their very lives. Yet facing the threat of death, they understand the true value of life and the true value of freedom. They know that their country, their culture, their people are worth fighting for. And yes,
now, I can't remember who said this, by the way, and it's funny you said she's reading off a script. When it comes to this, you know that, like, I've read this somewhere. I think it's Edward Said who says it in one of his books. People are literally have scripts written for them to go to Israel, and, like, it's like they get an article published and they get paid to go. I mean, like, who's the comedian that mentioned it? The Jewish comedian. Happy 3 months, King. Have fun in Canada. Also, this lady's hair looks fried. I mean, she's just cooked as a person. But thank you for 3 whole damn months. 3 whole months as a member. Thank you all for being members. Again, you are all making this streaming thing possible and viable.
Worth dying for. I heard not one word of hate for their enemy. I was in Israel for 9...
I heard not one word of hate. Bro, they're literally... Israeli news is just like, I think we should kill all the Palestinians this way. And then the others are like, no. We should starve them instead. God. Just saying anything. Sorry, I need to check something. Sorry, 1 second. I just keep checking. I just want to log on and check my bank quickly. Sorry, my apologies. I accidentally ordered the PC parts to the wrong address, so I had to cancel all the orders, so I just keep checking that it's not come out. Of course, buying the PC couldn't go simply, but yeah. Bobby Lee, thank you.
I heard not one word of hate, but I heard non-stop talk of their overwhelming love for their own country. Here in Britain, where young people say their country isn't worth fighting for, it is humbling to see young Israelis so proud to serve. In every street you see the Israeli flag proudly flying. You see yellow ribbons for the hostages and bring them home posters bearing their names and their faces. Every single one of those 48 hostages, alive or dead, still held in Gaza, their names, their faces are known to every single person in Israel.
Yeah, because they bombard them with propaganda as a means to justify mass slaughter of Palestinians.
To return to Britain, a country...
Flexing my bank. Yeah. Flexing my bank. Checking if I've accidentally spent loads of money accidentally on a PC.
Where so many of our politicians, our media, our ruling elite, our academics, everyone in those classes are embarrassed by our flag. They're embarrassed by our flag.
Middle East, I reported, Eurovision denied telling Israel to drop out. Yeah, I mean, I don't think they'll tell them. I think it'll just come to a point where they'll have to do it.
by our culture, embarrassed by our history, where they deride the Judeo-Christian traditions that have...
What are Judeo-Christian traditions? I would love someone to tell me. Was it a Judeo-Christian tradition when the kings of old used to treat Jewish people like a bank that they would just take money from? That they would just take, that they would just punish and threaten to expel from all our country? Was that a Judeo-Christian value when we expelled all Jewish people and were massacring them?
Made us who and what we are today, where many of the good people celebrate the murder of a 31-year-old husband and father in America, assassinated just because they didn't agree with him. Today we learned that 2/3 of Britons under the age of 40 don't even know what the Battle of Britain is. Yet, just like Britain in the 19...
Is that not just an emblematic of, like, hey, the education system is failing a lot of young people? Because whether you do or don't know what the Battle of Britain is, like, what does it matter? I'm sure that there are many people who couldn't tell you what the Battle of Britain was. Like, I was just double-checking that I was correct in thinking it was, like, when they fought the... what were the German Air Force called? I don't even know what they're called. I've forgotten. But Nazi... Luftwaffe. Yeah, Luftwaffe.
1940s, Israel is fighting an existential threat to their existence. The fascist forces that surround their nation...
The fascist forces that surround their nation. Okay, thank you, Julia. Thank you for using all the buzzwords.
...are there now, and they are fighting now. Not only is this a clear battle between good and evil, where there should be not a scintilla of doubt about which side we should be on. Not only is this the front line of the battle for Western civilization in the face of the threat of Islamofascism, but just like...
No, the Battle of Britain is not something that you would condemn the British for. The Battle of Britain is kind of like a good thing that the British did. They took on the German Air Force and had success at doing so. Couldn't she just say so that people working with their government, despite differences, be said about Iran? I doubt she would say that about them. Oh, of course not. Are you going to watch Palestine 36 100% when I get the chance? I really want to watch it. I wish it was... I was hoping it was coming out in London, but well, it is coming out in London, but, I'm not here in London when it comes out.
Britain during the Second World War, Israel is a beacon of light for the West. The pride, the sense of community, the sense of duty, of self-belief and of strength.
The only thing that knits Israel together as a community is just extremist racism against Palestinians. That is literally it. That is the only thing keeping Israel together, is just extremist hatred for Palestinians. It's like all that keeps Israel together. So please, come on, spare me about this.
We in Britain used to have all of those things, and we are losing those qualities.
Perhaps as soon as we become less racist,
The truth is that as Western leaders like Keir Starmer, the United Nations and all the other international bodies want to lecture Israel, but actually the truth is we have much to learn from them. And time is fast running out for us to learn those lessons.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Israel is a beacon of light of the West. What about Palestinian husbands and fathers? Oh, they don't. Do you think that a person going to Israel and being like, oh my God, I went to the site where a massacre happened nearly 2 years ago and I felt really emotional about it. And it's like, bro, there's one going on right now, a huge amount of it. And yes, Charlie Kirk was very fucking anti-Semitic. And also, by the way, I don't know if any of you saw this. I was Googling about Hitler earlier, as you do. I was looking for a Hitler quote, and this is published by the University of... I won't actually show it just in case it gets in trouble. But I can show my tweet, actually. It won't get me in trouble. One of Charlie Kirk's final tweets... Sorry for saying fucking. Sorry for saying fucking. I'm sorry for swearing. One of Charlie Kirk's final tweets is... Islam is the sword the left is using to slit the throat of America. One of Charlie Kirk's final tweets is eerily similar to this Hitler quote about the Jewish man. In the organised mass of Marxism, he has found the weapon which lets him dispense with democracy in its stead allows him to subjugate and govern people with a dictatorial and brutal fist. He's talking about, like, these are the same shit, bro. These people are Nazis. They believe in Nazism. No fucking, 100. But yeah, double up the likes. 100, 100, 100. 100. Get those likes up, bro. Where are they? Now. Oppa. Hold on, I actually just want to see if we can find a video of just Charlie Kirk being really anti-Semitic. There is a really crazy anti-Semitic clip of Charlie Kirk, actually. Oh, fuck, it's gone.
They have a lot of explaining to do.
I know, this is a video about him allegedly criticizing Israel. Yeah, he said a few negative things. Oh no, he said a few negative things about Israel, but he was just generally anti-Semitic and loved Israel. Like, bro, shush. Alright, not a family man anymore. Jesus. Chris is secretly Greek, bro. I am not Greek. Be quiet, be quiet. Chris, I like your vid so much that I pressed the like button twice. I think I have the clip. I thought I had the clip, but the account that posted it deleted it. Right, was there any Charlie Kirk stuff? Okay, right, let's have a look at CNN, see what they're live updating. This sort of egghead governor, whose name I forgot because he's so like boring, has really been enjoying the spotlight.
You have said that we're in a dark chapter, and you're not sure if it's the end of a dark chapter or beginning of a darker one. Is your view of America right now shaken?
Yeah, I mean, if your view of America is not shaken right now, then there's something wrong with you. This is a direct assault on America, a direct assault on every single one of us. Of course, it's an assault on Charlie, and we love Erica and her kids and his family. But this is us, and this is our chance. This is our moment. We've had periods like this in the past. I mentioned the late '60s and early '70s. But if we're waiting for a president or a governor to get us out of this dark chapter, then it will never happen. We can't. I don't understand this. Again, giving our agency up, waking up every day and saying, well, what did the president say today? That's going to determine how I react. Or what does the governor say today? That makes no sense to me. Every one of us has to look in the mirror and decide, are we going to try to make it better, or are we going to make it worse? And I pray that God will help us find him again and find our souls and find each other again.
Oh, fuck. Hold on. I just want to see. I heard there was once a story of someone who tried to push someone off a boat during the Vietnam War. Hold on. Will you join Upscrolled? It's a pro-Palestine social media. There is no Zionists on it and no censorship. Please post on it to raise online awareness about it. I mean, maybe. I mean, I've seen people talk about it, but already I'm pretty shitty on my uploading across multiple platforms. Thank you, Tony Soprano Lover, I saw it, but let's just listen to this very anti-Semitic statement.
And Jewish donors, they have a lot of explaining to do, a lot of decoupling to do, because Jewish donors have been the #1 funding mechanism of radical, open border, neoliberal, quasi-Marxist policies, cultural institutions, and nonprofits. This is a beast created by secular Jews. And now it's coming for Jews, and they're like, what on earth happened? And it's not just the colleges. It's the nonprofits, it's the movies, it's Hollywood, it's all of it. It's like, time for you guys to wake up.
By the way, this is just Nazi-like rhetoric about Jews that actually inspired the Pittsburgh shooter. But, you know who's actually the problem? You know who's the real problem? Oh, actually, yeah. Sorry, it's Hannah Einbinder calling out Israel for doing genocide. Bro, this is literally just Hitlerian rhetoric. For racially pure people which are conscious of its blood can never be enslaved by the Jewish person. This is Hitler, and I'm altering it a bit. In this world, he will forever be master over bastards alone. And so he's systematically to lower the racial level by a continuous poisoning of individuals. Like, bro, it's Hitlerian violence. It's Hitlerian rhetoric.
No more. Draw a line in the sand. I don't care if you hate me.
Like, when people act as if Charlie Kirk is this just a really anti-Semitic account? It probably is a really anti-Semitic account. It looks like a really anti-Semitic account, but either way, just highlighting that for the sake of it. Charlie Kirk is, I'm sorry, all these people who say that, like, oh, Charlie Kirk is like, this person who was assassinated by Israel for changing up. Do you honestly think someone who held genuinely anti-Semitic beliefs and someone who was pro-Israel and used his platform to be one of the biggest pro-Israel creators is like a problem for Israel? Bro, that's perfect. They want you to be anti-Semitic. They want you to be pro-Israel. That's like the best of both worlds. They don't care. Robert Pape, professor at Chicago, was on The Face of the Nation this weekend to discuss political violence. I got to ask him if more emphasis is on Kirk because of his status as proximity. He said yes, I've myself. Okay, where can I see that? I'd like to actually see that. Robert Pape. What an inception here of like someone who
take a closer look at the problem.
Someone who was watching my stream created. We're watching now. What a world we live in. Also, just want to say thank you all for like the community that is sort of built up around here. Thank you. Like, honestly, it's amazing. It's so much nicer than TikTok in a sense of like, and I know some of you are from TikTok, but it's nicer to have like all of you, more involved, easier to interact and stuff.
Problem of political violence in America, and we're joined now, I'm glad to say, by University of Chicago professor Robert Pape. He's the founding director of the Chicago Project on Security and Threats. Professor, it's great to have you with us. Thanks for joining us. What are the trend lines, and what is the key terminology you want my audience to understand?
The thing is they took him out to blame it on Muslims, not because he turned on them. I don't think they took him out. I think genuinely it was just one individual who took him out. I think often it feels easier to embrace a conspiracy theory because it's like such a crazy event to see with your own eyes. To see something where like someone and someone who you have seen for years, like many of us knew who Charlie Kirk was, to just see his shit get rocked like that, to see him like just like die in front of you is a crazy traumatic event. Even if you don't like him, it's like still a semi-traumatic thing for a human brain to see, if you know what I mean. And so I think like in many ways people look for the out of like, oh, Israel killed him or this person killed him, rather than it just being as simple as someone who was irony poisoned on the internet who didn't like Charlie Kirk just came and shot him, Like, I think that's what I have to say. I think he just took him out for the lols. I genuinely think that it was a guy who was like, yeah, this could be, I can do it. There's allegedly a note that was just like, I have the ability and the capacity to do it, and I'm going to do it.
We are now in a watershed moment for what I call the era of violent populism in America. This era is defined first and foremost by two factors. Number one, a rising tide of political violence on both the right and the left. And just think, and I only go back to 2002, just think of the attack, the assassination attempt on Nancy Pelosi, Democratic leader of the House. Missed her, almost killed her husband. The attempt on Brett Kavanaugh, conservative Supreme Court justice. Two attempts on Republican candidate Donald Trump. And then in Minnesota, just a few months ago, not just attempts, but actual assassinations of Democratic leaders. Josh Shapiro, governor of Pennsylvania, and now we see Charlie Kirk assassinated. And what we are seeing is this clear rising trend in numbers of attacks. Side by side with that, though, we are also seeing a rising tide, a groundswell of support for political violence on both the right and the left that corresponds with this rising trend of political violence on both the right and the left. Our center at the University of Chicago Project on Security and Threats, we have been conducting highly reliable national surveys on political violence, the support for political violence among Americans for over 4 years. We started this in the summer of 2021. Our most recent survey in May found higher levels of support for political violence on both the right and the left than we have ever seen. And
I would also say, though, that, like, the support for left-wing political violence comes from just an abject failure of the government to address any politics, like any of the meaningful issues that the left cares about. And so it's not surprising that, like, there are more people who are, like, just willing to take matters into their own hands. On the other hand, when it comes to right-wing violence, a lot of it genuinely just comes from, like, genuine extremist positions of hatred and a desire. And, like, I guess it's also from a feeling of failure of the government, but it comes from a position of, like, like a lack of fulfillment of what they want that the government can never give, which is just sort of like mass killing everyone who they deem as enemies. But, you know, I guess there are some people who, like, want Stalin back, you know, which is kind of interesting. Why does Bro talk like the Pixies from what hit this guy? I don't even remember Fairly Odd Parents.
that's one of the reasons why I rang the alarm bell with that big op-ed in the New York Times in June saying we're on the cusp of major political violence. And I'm sorry to say
That is an interesting thing to note. Like, and I think, like, if you speak about support, though, versus practical application of that violence, for years, right-wing extremism fueled by an internet culture, and I've actually seen someone who's spoken about this, like someone who spoke about this online, I don't remember their name, they do it on Twitter, and they talk about this weird nexus of, that related to Brennan Tarrant, Anders Behring Breivik, and there's like this weird nexus of just people just justifying killing over and over again.
Now right in the grip of violent populism.
And in that survey data, is it that people who respond to your survey say, to reconcile myself to the political outcome I want, I will be willing to resort to violence? Is that the key connection point?
The key connection is the particular political grievance. So we asked, just give you an example, 39% of Democrats say they agree that the use of force is justified to remove Donald Trump from the presidency.
I feel like that's a pretty interesting question to ask, in that, like, the use of force, that's a pretty abstract question, in that, are you talking about just, like, sending the military in? Because that's a use of force, isn't it? Thank you for the $10. I saw some conservative people on my timeline saying, at least we don't burn down buildings when one of ours dies. Motherfucker, you made the sandwich. 100% in terms of, like, use, in terms of like how, what they actually want and what they're doing, you know, like in terms of just escalating violence. The truth is so many right-wing people get their violence enacted whilst in the military in so many different places. They get to do it. We spoke about this the other day. Those anti-Islamist biker gangs who want to kill and harm Muslims are doing that right now in Palestine. They literally have unarmed civilians who they can just shoot at and enjoy. You've heard the video of the guy cheering about it. So I think that all of these spectrums of violence and, like, their desires for the use of it is skewed by that, in terms of the fact that, like, hey, people go into the military and do violence on black and brown people that they want to enact all the time. It's not like leftists get to go into the military and go fight against left-wingers. I have the Discord link pinned where there's the donations. Should I leave that up, or should I repin the Mosen link?
When we go deeper to probe, what do they mean by use?
I don't agree with someone removing. I actually think, and this might happen with Nepal because I saw them handing their guns over quite often, and there's a guy called Noah Feldman who's a bit of a lib Zionist and he's quite annoying at times. But in the context of Noah Feldman is like, one of the problems is the people in the Middle East relied too heavily on the army and the belief that the army were kind of just like a good and a moral institution, when I've not actually seen this writing because I've not perhaps read enough about it, but also apparently in Arabic there's a lot more writing about what they're saying. In the context of Arabic, what they're saying is that, like, hey, there are actually just conflicts between the security services internal into them and these kind of things. So I think when you're kind of just reliant on the army and them removing someone, they'll only do it when they actually have their own interests being threatened. They're not doing it out of the goodness and the desires of the people.
Of force, 55% are talking about assassinations. They're talking about lethal uses of force. That's why we use that term. On the right, we also, as the very same survey, we found 24% of Republicans agree that Donald Trump is justified in using the U.S. military to suppress
Bro, who are the independents?
Democratic protesters.
And who are the Democrats like supporting this?
These are very specific questions. We have a whole slew of these questions so that we really can speak with great precision about what are the grievances that people want to say use of force is justified. We know what the meaning of that term is, and then we can see Democrat, Republican in the crosstabs.
Does your research buttress the point that both Senator Langford and Senator Coons made, which is the internet is an accelerant and an amplifier?
It's an accelerant, but it's not the root cause. So studying this problem now for 5 years, I've found that just as around the world, big social change, it drives political violence. We see this in other countries around the world, but the details of the change vary. We are now moving for the first time in our country's 250-year history from a white majority democracy to a white minority democracy. In 1990, we were 76% non-Hispanic white. Today, we're 57% non-Hispanic white. It will be another 10 years, maybe 15, if we deport a lot of those undocumented illegal immigrants before we make the transition to a truly white minority democracy. Well, this generational change has happened. It started about 10 years ago, where the real tip.
This is, whilst people view this as entirely a conspiracy theory, I read a paper by someone who wasn't like a hate-filled character, and he was talking about this. There was research done around this that did not just initially come from the position of like hating minorities, like all of these things. Okay, Great Replacement, but the thing about the Great Replacement is this is like something that is like I'm not. And like, you either are on the position of like, oh, this is just epically bad because no longer white will be dominant. But like, in terms of what will happen is, you can look at the birth rates. The birth rates of non-white people are going up in most Western societies. And because of capitalism, you constantly need to bring people over to fill the low-wage jobs. So it's like, and like, in terms of in America, the construction industry is pretty reliant on people who live there, of people who actually live there. You know, of illegal immigrants. They're reliant on bringing people over, you know.
Tipping point generation, and corresponds with the rise of Donald Trump, why his issue of immigration is meteoric, why it's morphed from immigration meaning stop people crossing the border to now deporting mass numbers of people, because there are people on the right who want to stop.
Exactly, or deporting, or the idea, the conspiracy lies in the fact that deporting people is just going to fix everything. And that rather than fundamentally saying, hey, this is like a prerequisite of capitalism, this is like a prerequisite of capitalism, you have destroyed so much of the world. You have caused so much economic damage to places through the things that you've done. And now there are centres left where you will get work. And so many people literally just come for like, I want a better life. And yes, you're right in terms of like, and what you're saying about your dad. Like people who come over and getting angry at these people who are already in precarious situations where they like, in my understanding, how it operates in America is that you go and like get in a truck and then that's it. Like you just get in a truck and they're like, yeah, you'll get paid cash in hand at the end of the day. And that's kind of it. Felt like left-wing people, felt like left was wing, back the people. Now it feels like the right has consumed everything. I'm seeing more than ever can left still come back, or is it just a fleeting blip? I mean, right-wing politics is just enjoyable online, but it doesn't offer any fix. The truth is just that left-wing populist politics can win and will do well. Like, truthfully, Jeremy Corbyn stands and wins and makes major change. Amazing things happen, but... And people start to see the left for what it actually is and offer like populist politics. It's good, but it's just not happening because we end up with people like Keir Starmer and Joe Biden who just kick the can further down the road by not offering this radical change that is needed. Like the dudes who hang out in Home Depot lots. Yeah. And it's part of the American economy. So what I'm saying is that like the problem with the Great Replacement theory is now that it's being used for racism. But the truth is that it's in this demographic shift will occur. And would you consider yourself a Marxist? As I say, and my new favourite term is capitalist skeptic, in that, like, I've read a lot of people who are like Marxists, you know, who think in the world of Marxists, but in terms of like supporting Marxism as an economic system, bro, I've not even read Capital. One day I'll read Das Kapital, but I don't think I will. I don't think I will read it for a while, so once I've read that, I'll let you know. But I'm definitely someone who opposes capitalism as a system. Like, I'm someone who thinks capitalism doesn't work because it incentivizes profit over human beings and what's necessary for them. And so when you have a society when you have a society that is organized around profit over human beings and then get shocked over and over again when there are like these changes that people get upset about, you know, or if they do pay you legally, they give you a special ID so you get taxes taken out of your wages with no way to benefit from any of the social programs. That's crazy. I grew up in a majority black and Mexican neighborhood, so none of this "they're ruining our country" crap works on me. These aren't super criminals, they're just regular people. No, and even the super criminality is like, Kurdish people are like doing some pretty criminal stuff in the UK. Not all Kurdish people, the vast majority of them want to come over for work, but there's like a lot of stuff involving like, you know, people doing like running barber shops where they can, and it's not just Kurdish people obviously, but I know Kurdish people are like heavily involved in people smuggling apparently. But anyway, with like all of this stuff, but I'm not blaming Kurdish people being like they degraded society. It's just like, hey, people see an opportunity to make money and sell stuff that white people and everyone in the UK will go and buy. It's like cheap cigarettes. People will just go buy cheap smuggled cigarettes that probably come from the Middle East. You know? The common economic models are based on the reliance of labour as a variable cost that can be modified by laying people off to make them take lower paying jobs. 100%. And what do you need for those lower paying jobs as well? To staff the lower paying jobs is people who take them. So you just need this unemployed class that when there's like, ooh, economic boom, you can get them. Smuggling of other Kurds. Yeah, I mean, yeah, in part, but also lots of people. I think there are modern days of Capital that are easier to slog through. No, I'll slog through all of Capital one day. One day. One day. Biji Rojava. Biji Kurdistan.
Or reverse this, and also the virulent reaction to Donald Trump on the left, on parts of the left, who want to keep this going. This is really the taproot, and that's why...
Do you think I should do a chair react? I think I might do a chair react. So what I might do is leave this on and listen to it on my phone so I can keep caught up with it whilst I'm peeing. Simple. Pretty sick. Pretty fucking clever. So I'm gonna be doing that. Let me just get up my YouTube stream. Oh wait, actually, is that a smart idea? No,
we need to expect
yeah, I'm gonna do
left
that.
to its own devices will get worse and be with us for 10 years.
So this is a demographic story that is creating a political backlash that gets amplified and accelerated online. Do I have that right?
You've got it exactly right. And these are why it's not the internet is not important. It's a reinforcing factor. And there's
in other words, it's too simplistic to say it's the internet.
Exactly, because that's why a few years ago, people challenged my findings and they said, oh, no, we'll just deplatform people. So the problem here is just the internet. So we're going to deplatform X, Y, and Z. We deplatformed X, Y, and Z, and you know what? Didn't miss a beat. And the reason is because, yes, it is an additional, it's like throwing gasoline on the fire, but the internet is not the fire itself. There's something going on which is really radicalizing our politics. And I'm sorry to say, this is a story that we've seen around the world in other countries, other time. And so this is the social change leading to radicalized politics that changes winners and losers in our society for real. And that's leading to political violence.
Professor, it has always been a hallmark of this country. We have sort of thought about ourselves as having this experiment that has lots of differences of opinion, spasms of violence, but in the end, we reconcile and we move forward. Are you any more or less optimistic about that and that underlying assumption about the core ability of America than you were previously?
The future is in our hands. This is not locked in with destiny. That said, if we do nothing, this will keep getting worse. The number one thing we have to do is we need our political leaders to step up. And we just saw an instance of that just previously where we have senators.
America than you were previously.
The future is in our hands.
Motherfucker, why did I mute? Why did I mute? I answered your question. I answered your question as well. Let me clarify. It feels like fighting back. No, the thing is that there weren't that many, when it comes to that protest, there weren't millions of people there. That just didn't happen. That's what people who were on the ground said. But that's not actually what happened. And I think you always have to take that with a pinch of salt. I think that it's just not true that's going on.
This is not locked in with destiny. That said, if we do nothing, this will keep getting worse. The number one thing we have to do...
Also, I feel like discrediting Twitter is kind of mad. Sophie, what question did you ask him?
Is we need our political leaders to step up. And we just saw an instance of that just previously where we have senators from both sides of the aisle making a joint video appearance. Well, that's really quite to condemn violence. That's important because the leaders can restrain their own constituents. When they badmouth the other side's constituents, our data shows that makes everything worse. That's the worst of all possible worlds because it produces defiance. We need to step that up. What would step that up? A summit between President Trump, Governor Newsom, and Governor Pritzker, a public session where they all together condemn political violence.
Professor Pape, I'm very glad you're here.
But that's just not going to happen because obviously it's a good thing for Trump, it being turned up. Like, Trump likes the violence. Like, that's something Trump likes. Like, I feel like that's something you got to reckon with. Trump is always going to... That's always something that he wants. Trump is apparently now saying, and as well, just like the political violence is leftist violence greater than right-wing violence, greater than state violence. This guy, there is violence on both sides. Yeah, 100%. Do you have a horse in your house? I swear I heard a horse pissing a minute ago. Very funny, very funny. Has Vance taken over Charlie's show? Oh, God. I mean, unsurprising, but I heard he was going to do it for one. There is violence on both sides. Yeah, I mean, I just totally agree with what you're saying. And just as we say, like, the thing is as well, state violence, the violence that right-wingers want, is acted out, and they get the catharsis of that violence so often. Surely you would also say that in terms of decreasing right-wing violence specifically, you would stop allowing the state to enact just heinous violence against minorities, you know?
Himself. Charlie
Sorry, someone apparently was cooking Charlie Kirk.
Kirk himself, said that empathy was a new age word, and he said that mass shootings were acceptable if it meant he could have his Second Amendment after Sandy Hook and all that happened. Maybe this guy shouldn't have said it quite the way he said it, but I've had enough because the person you just said, oh, he was just a family value man. This family value man said that gay people are an error, transgender people are mental. So apparently free speech is only okay if you're on the right. Apparently if you're on the left, you're not allowed free speech. You've got to be some sort of upstanding citizen. Well, I've had enough of this hypocrisy.
Is it not true though that Charlie Kirk's manner of expressing his thoughts and feelings was?
Oh, so he was polite and but a racist, yeah?
Oh, so he was polite but racist.
So you're talking about white replacement theory, that black people, black women in particular, were not clever. But it's all right as long as you do it politely, yeah? So I'll tell you what then, let's all be... This is how middle-class people get, like Farage and all that, get into power. So what? Because they can do it politely? Is that how it works? Because I've had enough of it. We've got Tommy Robinson March right now doing all their thing, but that's okay. That's freedom of speech. That's freedom of speech, yeah? Mm-hmm. I'm sick of it. I'm sick of it. Do you know what, Vanessa? I've had enough.
Yo, based lady. Oh, so you asked him in the green room. What did he say? Basically, as someone who grew up in America and was in 5th grade when Sandy Hook happened, this reaction seems hollow. Do you think there'll be any meaningful gun reform? I'm guessing he said no, because, like, or Trump is going to use it for a crackdown. This queen is slaying. But yeah, like, in terms of, because I started looking for that, who's that, like, deranged, the deranged politician from America giving a speech? She was like, they will rape you. Just like horrible woman. Horrible, horrible, horrible woman. Yeah, here you go.
England belongs to the English. It's either now or never. Because if these rapist Muslims take over, they will not only rape your women, they will behead your sons, just like they did on October 7th in Israel. So we either fight now.
This is just insane that this is like, she's got a point. She's got a 100% got a point.
Or we die. And we're fighters. We are warriors of Jesus Christ. And in the words of the great Charlie Kirk, Islam is the sword that the left is using to destroy Christian nations and to destroy every Christian nation across the world. So do not make peace with...
If you listened, someone else put it like this, I think it was Lewis Aaron, but if you listened to someone go up and say, send all these Jewish rapists and their dirty rugs back to their Sharia nations or their halacha nations, would you listen to that and say that that's okay?
Evil, destroy it. And we need a new prime minister that has guts and that's going to stand up for the British. And
we need a new prime minister. Lady, you're a Colombian living in America, bro. I don't care what you have to say.
And all of these rapists, Muslims, and dirty rugs back to their Sharia nations.
There are kids there, bro.
And after what they did to Charlie Kirk, debate time is over. So I will get to the United States Congress and we will finish what Charlie Kirk started. So help me God.
God, like, just, this is just racist, rabid extremism. And then they'll tell you, oh, actually, it was, no, it was just a free speech march. We wanted to unite the kingdom. And it's just like, bro, you're listening to this woman tell you how much she likes how much she wants to do all of these things to people. Like, it's crazy. And then people were just taking photos of them pissing in public. But yeah, just unbelievable.
Protest.
And he's just making up that it's the biggest protest in British history.
In British history.
Okay, we can't listen to this.
Thank you to Elon Musk.
They had Elon Musk there. It's crazy. Crazy stuff. Did any of you see his speech?
All need to thank today. This would not have happened without...
Hello.
Hi!
Hello, everyone. Congratulations. Congratulations, Tommy, on putting together an amazing event and really rallying the people of Britain.
Elon, none of this could have happened without you giving the British public access to the truth and giving us free speech and fighting for our free speech. So on behalf of Great Britain and the British public, we're incredibly grateful, Elon.
You're most welcome. You're most welcome, and you may notice this T-shirt that I'm wearing. It's great British author George Orwell. What would Orwell think?
What's the final line of 1984? Here you go. Just found it. He gazed up at the enormous face. 40 years it had taken him to learn what kind of smile was hidden beneath the dark moustache. Oh, cruel, needless misunderstanding. Oh, stubborn, self-willed exile, the loving breast. 2 gin-scented tears trickled down the sides of his nose. But it was all right. Everything was all right. The struggle was finished. He had won the victory over himself. He loved Big Brother. I feel like most people... I've never read 1984, but I never knew that it ended with those words. And it's so funny, like, just these people, like, George Orwell would not have anything to do. And you're right about the highlighting of also London Calling. They don't care about, like, what the message is of any of this. The Clash have the song Charlie Don't Surf.
I think that's generally a good way to look at these things. He would want freedom of speech. He would want the people to know what's real. He'd want the people to fight.
And then, but he probably wouldn't want a dictatorship, you know?
Against government oppression, and fight for the truth and fight for the future of Britain.
Elon, we are incredibly grateful for your time. We know what a busy man you are. Why?
Bro, that is the biggest lie I've ever heard. Elon Musk is not busy. Elon Musk does nothing all day apart from spend all day on Twitter.
Is it important for you to be here today speaking at this Unite the Kingdom event?
It's true, and you said this is the same guy who's aware of Deus Ex, but can't see himself in the villains of that game. I've not actually played Deus Ex since I was very young, but there was a comment I actually wanted to read. Free speech, but they just want freedom to be racist. I mean, 100%. Elon Musk is literally like on a campaign or part of a campaign to deplatform people for fucking joking about racist Charlie Kirk getting killed.
Well, I am of primarily British heritage, British ancestry. I want Britain to be greater than it ever has been.
He's so bad as a public speaker. He is so bad as a public speaker. This guy is horrendous at it. So, like, when you sit here and tell me that this guy's great, come on, bro.
I want Britain to remain.
And also, has anyone noticed that this guy sounds a little like Chris Chan?
In Britain, I think there's something beautiful about being British, and what I see happening is a destruction of Britain. Initially a slow erosion, but a rapidly increasing erosion of Britain, with massive uncontrolled migration, a failure by the government to protect innocent people, including children, who are getting gang raped. It's unreal.
Bro, this is definitely a failure of the government, but it's a failure of conservative Labour governments. This is not actually, like, for all of the ills of the current Labour government, the grooming gangs is not all on them. It is much more on the governments who came before them and did nothing about it. But just also mentioning this, of course he's mentioning it, because that's all people like him have.
The government has failed in its duty to protect its citizens, which is a fundamental duty of government. This has got to stop. There needs to be massive government reform in Britain. And the people need to be in charge, not some bureaucracy that doesn't care.
You literally just put a bureaucracy that you yourself hate into power in America that doesn't care about the people. Like, what is this chat? What is this chat? You did it. And on the topic of the American flags, bro, it's probably to do with, Charlie Kirk.
Elon, I believe that's what we've started today. Power by the people, sending a message worldwide. Elon, you spend an incredible lot of money on X. Why is free speech so important to you?
Well, I believe you can't get to the truth of things without freedom of speech, without active debate. There's so many on the left that want to just crush debate. And
wait, is this real? Hold on. Is this actually real that this was, like, sponsored by Bitcoin and UTK? I might have to cover these up, bro, because, like, I feel like this is just crypto scams. I'm gonna have to cover these up because, like, am I even allowed to show that?
And put people in prison just for talking, as you were, just for speaking their mind. The essence of democracy is it should be a government for the people, by the people. And in fact, this is a government against the people and not for the people. This is why everyone is gathered here today, is something's got to be done. This is unacceptable. The government needs to be responsible to the people of Britain. It needs to protect Britain. It needs to protect the weak, those who cannot protect themselves.
The government is doing cuts and Reform supports that. Reform and all these other parties just support doing cuts. That's it. They all support cuts and attacking the weakest in society. Bro, you literally just got into power an administration that did that. It's so funny that people buy this, but ultimately it's just because, you know, he's like, he did it straight away. He's telling you about these evil men who are coming over and sexually abusing. Hitler used to talk about this kind of stuff because it sells. Because what it is basically saying that there is an other who, as I've said over and over again, they transcend the normal moral boundaries of society that the good working white men don't do. And then you punish them and you get your enjoyment. He's also just... Elon is just yapping. Bro, he's just so bad at public speaking.
Especially the children. And when I read about some of the horrific stories and how the government did nothing and tried to hide it. They try to hide these horrific crimes. And then you see how much violence there's on the left. With our friend Charlie Kirk getting murdered in cold blood this week. And people on the left celebrating it openly. The left is the party of murder and celebrating murder.
God, just the Atlanticization of British politics where this guy's a hero. Some weirdo creep, bro.
I mean, let that sink in for a minute. That's who we're dealing with here. That is who we're dealing with.
Also, why did... You're saying I wonder how much he was paid. Bro, I don't think he got paid, but why does he have such a terrible connection?
Elon, to so many of the British public who are scared to exercise their free speech. They're worried about being imprisoned, they're worried about being attacked, even to share their speech on your platform of X. What message would you give to them?
The message is really... My message is to the reasonable center. The common sense. So my appeal is to British common sense, which is to look carefully around you and say, if this continues, what world will you be living in? This is a message to the reasonable.
But also, sorry, he was killed by a white man from a conservative family. I mean, yes, but I think that the thing about this is that, like, also, he was killed by someone from a background that these people literally tell you is the perfect thing that you would want. A good white man with a father, with conservative values, with Christian values, and yet he still didn't behave in the way that he should have. In the way that these people expect that just magically gifts to you. Because rather than addressing political violence, rather than addressing the strange and heinous shit happening on the internet, including his platform, you know?
Center, the people who ordinarily wouldn't get involved in politics, who just want to live their lives, they don't want, they're quiet, they just go about their business. My message is to them, if this continues, that violence is going to come to you. You will have no choice. You're in a fundamental situation here where whether you choose violence or not, violence is coming to you. You either fight back or you die.
This is the crazy statement that everyone was highlighting. After all this talk about political violence, here he is calling for it in front of 100,000 people. Calling for political violence, saying fight back or die. Imagine someone said this about Palestine. Saying, fight back against the government or die. Bro, it would be all over the news.
You either fight back or you die. And that's the truth.
Today, Elon, I think the British public are telling the world that they're ready to fight back.
Good. Yes.
he couldn't help but release the cringe. Yes.
Come on, Great Britain!
Oh, why is he like this?
Come on. We've inspired the nation. Elon, you've spoken a lot about woke culture, the woke mind virus, and how it damages innovation and freedom of thought. We know that DEI often sees people getting jobs when they definitely don't deserve them. Do you think this culture is holding back progress in the West? And what do you think needs to happen to reverse it?
Yeah, I'm appealing to sort of common sense and fairness. I want to emphasize just common sense and fairness, which is that make our decisions based on merit, on how, if somebody is talented and hardworking, then that should be the only means of advancement. There should not be discrimination on the basis of sex or.
What about if someone has a really rich family? Is that like a good indicator of why they should have whatever they want?
Religion or any race or anything else. And what a lot of the woke stuff is, it's actually super racist. It's super sexist, and it's often it's anti-religion, but only anti-Christian. Like, why only anti-Christian? That's unfair. So this is why, again, my message is to the reasonable middle. Do you not want a world where,
bro, if you want proof that we don't live in a meritocracy, you are speaking at this rally, and you are so rich, and you are still incompetent at it.
There is fairness and common sense.
And also saying that it's anti-Christian, like, what are you talking about?
And you advance as a function of how hard you work, and your talent, and your integrity. That should be all that matters. And the woke mind virus that I call it is against all of that. It's wrong.
It's just powerful. It's wrong.
Elon, we hear so much about censorship being pushed by governments and global corporations and organisations. A lot of people don't understand why we're allowing mass, uncontrolled immigration into all Western nations. Do you believe that there are powerful forces outside of elected officials, someone controlling governments, that are trying to control the flow of information, and how do we resist that pressure?
Bro, Elon Musk is sweating because he just described him.
Yeah, I think when you look at the behavior of organizations or people, you have to say, what is the incentive for these organizations? And frankly, there's a massive incentive on the left to import voters. So if they can't convince their nation to vote for them, they're going to import people from other nations to vote for them.
Why would this make sense? How did Hispanic people vote generally in the Trump election? Like, a considerable amount, like, bringing over this many people for the amount of votes that it gave to Trump. Like, how would that even make sense? Pew's saying that was the, that's the vote. That 40% of Latino voters were backing Trump. And with that, of course, you have to factor in the fact that, like, people like Trump will weaponize that.
This is a massive factor. And frankly, it's a strategy that will succeed.
Muslims are also very socially conservative. The only reason that they tend to vote for Labour is just because of the racism. Like, Muslims are socially conservative on the whole.
If it is not stopped. Thus far, it is succeeding. And you see strong movements to allow people who are not from Britain to vote in Britain, to allow people who are not from France or elsewhere to vote in those countries. And thus depriving the citizens of their democratic power. It's really a voter importation thing. And if they're allowed to succeed, if this is allowed to continue, they will succeed in importing voters, swaying the elections, and taking your vote away from you. That is 100% what is happening.
Do you know what?
You are a multi-billionaire. You have hundreds of billions of dollars and you are influencing the British electorate. Like, what is this? It's so ironic. It is such an ironic thing. It's like Tommy Robinson asked him about these malign forces above democracy, and then they bring him in to do it. It's like, this could not be more ironic. And also, you know, this man, he enjoys some of the illicit substances.
Great. The BBC and the mass media cannot control this, can they? I love it.
I mean, the BBC is complicit in the destruction of Britain.
And we pay for it, Elon. We pay for it.
Yes.
We're forced to pay for it. Do you know they send us to jail if we don't pay for it?
You're forced to pay for your own destruction. It's insane. It's unfair. It is wrong.
Once again, I've always preferred the term capitalism runs roughshod over tradition. These are the words of Todd McGowan. Let me see if I can find it. Talks about, on page 124 of Universality and Identity Politics, talks about the Sabbath and how capital runs roughshod over tradition with its drive to accumulate and to transform everything into the form of the commodity. But no one within capitalist society works on behalf of capitalist society itself or on behalf of accumulation in general. Interesting. Todd McGowan Fire. Has the cam quality. I know, I've got a better cam quality. Elon, get yourself a Logitech.
Elon, a lot of ordinary people that are here today, they feel ignored, they feel censored, or they're labelled just for speaking up about their legitimate fears and concerns in their communities. Do you believe technology, like X or even AI, can finally give power back to those people?
By the way, and also left-wingers need to realise this as well. When Elon Musk bought Twitter, Twitter didn't become right-wing. It was always a right-wing platform that was organised in such a way that it could be manipulated whenever it was needed. Like, please don't buy into this shit. And I was thinking this today when everyone's like, they're going to edit TikTok because the Zionists in charge. Bro, they're already doing that. Like, what do you think's going to happen? If they banned pro-Palestine speech outright, that would be worse. That would be worse than if they behaved the way that they do currently, where they manipulate the algorithms and stuff. And left-wingers need to realise this as well. Like, seriously, realise this. These platforms are not left-wing. In the information age, people thought that with the advent of the internet, it was all going to be decentralised and people were allowed to talk. But it's never been more manipulated. Elon Musk created a platform and an algorithm for everyone that was just based on what he liked.
Or do you think it will make censorship worse or even automated?
I mean, that's a complicated question. It really depends on what government is in charge. The government can obviously use whatever powers are available to suppress the people. And so I really think there's got to be a change of government in Britain. And you can't, we don't have another 4 years or whatever the next election is. It's
Here's CNN from 2024. Oh, this is what I mean about needing a new PC. I'm trying to move this across and look at my PC just dying. Elon Musk has met with politicians from at least 13 different countries. And there's also a load of other reports which you can research. Elon is... Forbes reported it. Twitter has complied with almost every government request for censorship since Musk took power. Can't stick around, Chris. Get some fancy British tea on me. Thank you. I've got to go to London tomorrow, so I will.
It's too long. Something's got to be done. There's got to be a dissolution of Parliament and a new vote held. And really, what matters is rallying the people of Britain. Really getting the people of Britain to get the message out there. Talk to your friends and family, and build a massive power base among the people. And like I said, you really got to appeal to the sort of average, the normal people that just...
Bro, how is this man talking about normal people when he's like a complete and utter freak who has millions of children? Well, not millions, but dozens of children with random women whose lives he's not in. Most of his kids want nothing to do with him, and he regularly took his kid around as like a prop. You know,
just want to go about their business. That they're sort of in a village somewhere, they're working, they just want to mind their own business, but you've got to point out to them that if we don't take action, they won't be able to mind their own business because other people are going to come and maraud them. There's genuine risk of rape and murder.
My God, like, this stuff is unbelievable. Like, I'm probably going to make a section just about this. There's genuine risk. You need to tell everyone that they're going to be sexually abused and killed if they don't become a right-winger.
And the destruction of the country and dissolution of the entire way of life. And so, yes, in the normal course of business, if things were, if you weren't under a massive attack, then people should go about their business and just, you know, live their lives. But unfortunately, if the fight comes to you, you don't have a choice.
You can hear his, like, South African accent coming out there. But, like, just when he's saying this kind of stuff, it's unbelievable. Like, this is just violent, militaristic, fascistic rhetoric. Remember that fascism is obsessed with violence and the glorification of militarism and violence. That's what they're doing. That is what he's doing. And you're right, he's cooked. He's fried.
You have to fight. So you have to rally all of the people of Britain to fight for the future.
Let me ask
and
the
if
people
this
of
doesn't
Britain,
happen, there won't be a future.
are you ready to fight for your future, Britain?
Fight for your future. Do it. Go.
What, bro? How can he not control himself with these outbursts? These are all people pissed up and bagged up. They hate nerds. Bro, you gotta know your audience.
Will we be gagged any longer, Britain?
Why is he like, he's like flapping, bro. I mean, you know, we can all be accused of flapping at times, but he's like, go, go, go!
But you know what I mean, Tommy. You know what I mean.
Look at that beautiful crowd, just ancient people.
I mean, I talk to my friends in Britain, and they're like, yes, you know, they live in a village here or there, or a town or city here or there, and they're like, well, it doesn't seem like it's really that much of a problem. I'm like, well, if you want to know what's going to happen to your town or village, just visit London.
It's so funny, just visit London. Like, London's degradation has a lot to do with just, like, you know, a lack of social safety nets that have been taken away over and over again. It's not because there are Muslims there, bro. Like, they largely, poorer people just tend to concentrate in cities, and so too do immigrants. Like, that's just what they say. And it's like, oh, there's a degradation going on. And it's like, oh, just blame these people rather than looking at the fundamentals of, like, post-Brexit Britain. And also Liz Truss. Like, what Liz Truss did. British people are still just paying for the price of that. And Brexit. Like, these things, we're paying the price of it. And they're just like, oh, look what's going to happen unless you hate immigrants. Maybe if Tommy Robinson was a Muslim, he wouldn't be such a grumpy butt. Yeah, he needs to take his Shahada, bro.
And you'll see that it's you know, filled with crime. It often doesn't feel like Britain at all, and it's only a matter of time before that is what.
Today it does. No, bro. Today it feels like America because you've got one of the richest American South African politicians who helped to bring to power Donald Trump, just sitting there. Just sitting there and telling you that you need a war and that we need to change our politics. You have one of the biggest fascists. This doesn't feel like Britain. This feels like us bending and becoming way more Americanized. London is shit, though. I kind of like London. And, like, London does feel like Britain. Like, quintessentially Britain.
What happens to your town or village? It starts in London, but it will spread to every town and village in the country. And no one will have any peace.
We're running out of time, people. We're running out of time. Elon, you've built rockets, you've built cars, you've built satellites, you've built AI. Things most of us couldn't dream of. It's fair to say you're a visionary. When you look at leaders in Europe and the UK today, do you think...
Bro, is he geeking out? Look at his jaw. Look at his jaw. Wait.
You've built cars, you've built satellites, you've built AI. Things most of us couldn't dream of. It's fair to say you're a visionary. When you look at leaders in Europe and the UK today...
Oh my god! He's actually geeked out. Bro, he's actually geeked out. No way. Look at his jaw. That is not... I'm sorry. That does not look like natural joy movement. That looks much more like someone else is going there, where he's like...
Do you think they share the same talent for future vision, or do you feel like they'll be left behind and out of touch?
Well, I think we've got to have a freer country, a freer... you know, Europe in general has to be freer. It's stifled by bureaucracy. I think it's good that Britain left the EU because there's just too much bureaucracy in the EU. But
I mean, like, leaving talking about EU bureaucracy, okay, fair enough, but, like, at the same time, like, it shows that you know nothing. Leaving the EU has just been bad for everything.
Frankly, instead of instead of really going down a path of personal freedom and deregulation and getting rid of these stifling regulations, unfortunately, the British government has pretty much stayed on par with the EU, if not in some ways made the stifling regulation worse. If you have excess government regulation and oppression, you stifle the freedom of people to try new and great ideas. And Britain used to be a country that did amazing things, some of the boldest things on the entire planet. And that is possible.
When we did colonialism, that was brave, bro. Killing all those Indian people, brave.
In the future. But it can't be done if you've got this massive oppressive bureaucracy and a government that doesn't care about its people. And that has to change. There has to be profound change.
But also, the funny thing is the St. George's is obviously the flag of England, but the United Kingdom flag, bro, this isn't really a United Kingdom thing. This is just like nothing to do with Scotland and all these other people. Scotland is way more EU. Ireland, I guess you have Northern Ireland, but Ireland is way more pro-EU. So this whole idea of like, oh, we're uniting the kingdom, it's like, no one cares about Scotland here. Like, and I don't say that to be mean to the Scottish, but like, no one here cares about it. In terms of like in our political class and just sitting there with this flag, this is much more of a UK thing.
And there's not much time left.
Elon.
It's also really funny because, you know, one of the things about him saying we should be pro-EU, you know, we used to have like loads of white European, loads of white European immigrants coming here all the time who'd come as like professionals and they'd be here for like short periods of time and then they'd leave. Now our migration is much more people from around the world. So if you are racist, if you are someone who is like really hateful of immigrants, why would you be pro-Brexit? It's literally brought more immigrants from places that you say you hate them from. You're always on about how you love like white European cultural values. Like why are you sat here saying that you don't want to be part of Europe because of bureaucracy? You know what, actually, though? Slashing the bureaucracy seems like a really good idea because it's made the FBI work really well, hasn't it? Kash Patel's doing great things. Deregulation means eco-destruction for vulnerable. Oh, 100%. Just destroying our environments, cutting our social safety nets. Great stuff.
You've said before that civilization is fragile. We agree.
Yes.
It's precious. When you look at the West right now, every country in the West, with its wars, its divisions, its censorship, and its declining trust in institutions, none of us trust them at all. None of the public trust them.
For good reason.
Are you optimistic or pessimistic about where we are heading?
I think if the people of Britain take charge and actually ensure that there's a government that represents their interests and not a government that represents foreign interests, then I think Britain has a great future. And I think we can be optimistic. I think there's amazing things that are possible. If the technology that's coming is used in the right way, we can have an incredibly exciting future, one which is...
This, by the way, also, for like things people care about, this just means more intrusion of big business into... this just means big business into, like, our systems. Like, Palantir had a contract with the NHS where they were just like, yeah, use Palantir systems for free. It's like, bro, these are just more companies getting involved in stuff we need.
You know, sort of Star Trek made real. It's sort of like the exciting utopian sci-fi where we have spaceships and we've got robots and we've got incredible technologies that are really exciting. But we need to preserve civilization long enough for that to happen, and we need to go onward and upward. And we need to fight for such a future. Such a future is not inevitable. We have to fight for such a future.
I think that many British people had lost hope, but after today's scene, have you got hope again, Britain? Britain is awake. Thanks to you, Elon. Thanks to your input. Can we just ask...
Well, thanks to you, Tommy.
Thank you, brother. Can we ask, what do you see as the future of the UK and Europe in your vision? Where are we heading? What's the future like for us?
Well, I think there needs to be a future where the people take charge, where there's deregulation, a massive reduction in bureaucracy, and generally a new hope, where people look forward, wake up in the morning and look forward to the future. They're excited about what's going to happen next. But we must have revolutionary government change for that to occur. And this is not...
I just feel like if you heard a left-winger or someone from the Communist Party calling for revolution at a pro-Palestine rally, it would literally be just front-page news, but Elon Musk doing it is just like, oh, Elon Musk said these things which are a little bit inappropriate and out of place.
Ordinary course of business sort of stuff. This really requires everyone to sort of marshal the people, to take charge, reform the government, and make sure that you actually have a government that is for the people, by the people. And that's essential. And that's not... And so we're really at a fork in the road here. We're at a fork in the road to darkness or greatness. And that will be decided only in a matter of years. And we must take the path to greatness. And that's the path that's exciting and inspiring and will make life worth living.
Elon, you've done more than anyone to shine a torch on the crimes committed against a generation of our daughters. On behalf of everyone and on behalf of all of us in Great Britain, you know what, we wouldn't even be in the fight. Not only are we in the fight right now, but we're on the advance. Thanks to free speech being fought for us by Elon Musk. We're very grateful, sir.
You're most welcome. Thank you. All right.
Someone asked me a question, which will be one of the last things I talk about because I need to go because I'm doing Bad Hasbara very shortly. What do you think this march means for Tommy? What does this march and Tommy Robinson mean for the UK right now, in your view? I mean, it's worrying in the sense of this is very open racism on the streets of the UK. You saw like violence against people. You saw them trying to attack the left-wing protesters, and they were trying to, and they would have if they could have. There was an interesting article in the New Statesman talking about this kind of stuff, and also someone shouting about how much they loved Hitler and this kind of stuff apparently at the march, but that doesn't surprise me because, you know, there's a mixture of views here. You've got all spectrums of right-wingers. But simultaneously, this is a problem for the right because the Reform Party is not so openly racist. The Reform Party tries to have this thin veneer of respectability. An association with Tommy Robinson has been a problem for Nigel Farage. And this is why the Reform Party is polling well, but there are problems for them in the sense of, like, this is a split because not everyone will go and endorse Tommy Robinson because electorally, this is still suicide. Tommy Robinson is a very racist guy. Tommy Robinson is someone who is extreme. Tommy Robinson is someone who has a lot of things against him that would cause problems for you. And so basically, the issue here is that it could cause a split in the right because for Reform, difficult because how can you vote Reform when Nigel Farage is not endorsed by either Tommy Robinson or Elon Musk and they can't really reunite? It's not really a thing. There's like an impasse here. Reform is problematic, but this is a problem for them. Anyway, guys, I'm going to have to end the stream here because I really need to go and prep quickly. Thank you all for coming. Thank you all for donating and supporting. Yeah, shout out to everyone who's been on the live. Lovely live. Really enjoyed it today. In spite of the lack of TikTok live today. You know I love my TikTok lives. Anyway, guys, I'm going to have to end the stream here because I really need to go and prep quickly. Thank you all for coming. Thank you all for donating and supporting. Yeah, shout out to everyone who's been on the live. Lovely live. Really enjoyed it today. In spite of the lack of TikTok live.